Because what you did probably do is nothing. And by doing nothing, you said it was okay.
Inaction is a fucking action.
Definitely a fucking action.
And I'm glad you brought this up. And it was on my list of topics too. And I've been thinking about this a lot now, and I'm sure you have as well. I mean, and I've said this on social media. I'm judging silence at this point, especially from niggas that know me. Like, I'm looking at, the white people that say they're close to me and seeing if they're reaching out and just asking me how I'm doing. Like, it doesn't need to be anything crazy. Like, I just donated to a bail fund or, United Negro College Fund. Like, nah, I mean, you don't have to fucking adopt a Jordan sneaker in my name. But how about it's a fucking concern? Like, there's niggas that went dark on me. And I guess disappointingly, but unsurprisingly, it's the people that I expected that I wouldn't hear from that makes it worse. Because these are the same people that will volunteer. Oh, I just tend to say, hey, we just don't talk politics. I'm like, nigga, we ain't friends then. Because, one, this isn't politics at all. And secondly, you're automatically telling me what you're not comfortable talking to me about because you already know that probably the things that you champion are the things that I directly oppose and have been detrimental to me and mine.
Yep.
For a long time. So if you can watch a black man be murdered and don't say anything, I mean, why would I think why would I think you would act any differently if that were me?
They wouldn't.
Like, what if it was me with me on camera getting choked out? Are you gonna would they be like, oh yeah, Rich probably was tripping before the camera. We don't have all the information, and it keeps me. I try to calm down and think about it, but daily I get angrier about it. About the people who claim to be my brother, claim to be, like a close friend of mine, claim to care about my well-being. You don't give a fuck.
No fucks.
On top of the fact that we have a pandemic, on top of the fact we have personal issues, on top of the fact everything else is going on in my life, there's a war on black people, and you claim to be an ally, but you're silent. You're talking to your white friends about how cool this is, and like, oh shit, like, oh, what about the NFL? NFL's back. Let's focus on that. Fuck the NFL.
The shit that killed me about it, man, it's just wild to me, right? And here's why. Because some people be damn near better off faking it at this point than saying nothing. Because like yourself, like, I judge silence. I'm paying very close attention to silence. There's a time for silence and then there's a time for action. And this is a time for the latter, right? But I'd rather somebody post something, say something, do something than do nothing, if for one reason only. And that reason is that if you were to make a public stand of any kind, that means your friends and family probably going to see it, which means they probably may or may not be uncomfortable. And as I said earlier, change only happens when people are uncomfortable. But more importantly, it at least gives people an idea, somewhat of an idea of where you stand. But if you stand in silent, you said where you stood. You
already made it clear.
You just made it very fucking clear where exactly where you stand. You just didn't say it flat out.
There's no sitting this one out.
Yeah.
There's no sitting this one out.
It's impossible.
You're either with us or you're against us.
And I mean,
I'm not interested in anything else in between.
That goes all the way back to like Jim Crow or the Civil War. Like, people weren't exempt to how bad the Civil War ravaged this country. Either you was for slavery or you was against slavery. Like, against slavery. You weren't like, well, I don't know if I want to own slaves or not. Either you was fucking Candyland or you were Django, motherfucker. Like, pick your battle.
People love to quote Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King said the biggest enemy to progress were white moderates.
Yeah.
You know where the staunch racists are. You know where the black people are majority are heading towards. The moderates are the one that say that are the Drew Breeses.
Yep.
To say, oh, I'm all for your plight, but not in that way. How the fuck are you gonna tell me what's appropriate or not? Let me punch you in your face, and then you peacefully tell me why you're upset about me punching in your face. Let me fucking cut your finger off, and you respond peacefully and about how much I hurt you. Let me point a gun in your face, and then you tell me peacefully why I should have pointed a gun at you.
This shit is wild, man. And every day it seems like there's a new excuse.
There's endless excuses.
Like there's so many that it's ridiculous. And people kill me when they talk about, all right, it's a political issue. No, this is a life or death issue for us. It might be a political issue for you. This is a I may not come back home every day issue for me.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you another reason this isn't politics, because politicians need to do more. A lot of the cities with the worst police brutality have Democratic mayors and shit still happen because no major reform is being made to actually penalize cops for what they're doing.
And you know who else gets fucked up? Poor whites.
Yep.
But they're not out there talking about police brutality, which I wonder why.
And this shit is just fucking bogus to me because you could find a rationalization for injustice. You're okay with injustice. That's just all there is to it. People, want to make it seem like they're being pitted in a position where they have to do something. You should have to do something regardless of if people are calling for change or not. It's at the point that it is because we've been calling for change for the longest and it never came. And it's like, all right, you sitting back trying to find a way to the sidelines so you don't have to do anything. I'm militant as fuck, right? So Rich is actually being very kind when he's talking about punching you in the face. I'm past the punching you in the face part of this shit. Like I was saying earlier, I keep a shotgun with rubber bullets in it. Everything else, I run live rounds. At this point, I feel like people flat out saying, fuck my life, right? And it pisses me off because I'm a man that's been shot. I've taken rounds while growing up. I've taken rounds to the vest while overseas, mostly while in the military, not so much outside. And I sit here and I'm like, all right, I've literally put it all on the line. I've risked the ultimate sacrifice.
Several times,
right? So I'm a man that's very at peace with the possibility of losing my life. And I say that to directly address people in the black community that's sitting on the sideline and you want to talk shit about the looters and talk about niggas acting wild, but you ain't out there risking nothing. You bitch made. You won't change, but you're not willing to risk the ultimate sacrifice. And as we've highlighted, no change has really come in America that wasn't preceded by significant violence. That's just, and I'm not even saying condoning or calling for violence. I'm just stating an absolute fact. Exactly. I'm stating an absolute fact, whether I feel any type of way about it or not. There's no change that has ever come in the U.S. that didn't have violence come before it, right? And the reason this annoys me is because most of the most prominent civil rights leaders paid the ultimate price. That's not including, the hundreds others that died. That's just like what I cited earlier. Like 110 cities they protested after MLK's death. During that protest, it was 41 people that they documented that died. Of course, they weren't even accurately documented back then, but it's 41 people that they know of that died. There's a memorial for them in Alabama. And people are concerned with bloodshed when bloodshed itself is almost unavoidable. People always come to me, and it annoys me, but I somewhat understand it sometimes when they come to me. What about your son? What about being able to go home and see him every day? If I'm seeing injustice happen and I do nothing about it, I will never feel okay going back home to my son, bitch made, because I would never condone my son doing that. My son is known at school for stopping bullies. He sees some shit going wrong, he addresses it himself, or he finds the appropriate people above him to address it, to make sure that the shit cease and desist on site, bottom line. That's what he's been taught. That is what he does. If I'm riding by and I see a motherfucker kneeling on a black dude's neck, whether I've ever met this guy or not, if I know him at all, I'm not pulling out my fucking phone. I'm going to meet you force on force. We can go straight up, hand to hand. We can go non-lethal, or we can go lethal. That's all there is to it. Because, that's just how I feel about it. If Richard Washington wasn't my best friend and I'm riding by and I see a motherfucker kneeling on Rich's neck, best friend or not, if I see there's a potential for lethal force, if your weapon is unholstered, like an unholstered weapon to me says intent to use, which means the only thing I can meet that with is an unholstered weapon, right? I'm going to meet you force on force. I know the risk. Let me just say it. It's been plenty of times I've almost died. I can't count. That's how many times I've almost died. Whether it's from motorcycle accidents or being at war or being shot in the States or fucking totaling vehicles. I've come pretty close to death a number of times to the point where the idea of going out doesn't bother me in the bit. You mess with any of my homies, like I gotta have you. You messing with an unarmed black man and I'm present, I gotta have you. If anything ever, God forbid, happens to my son, I'm not coming for the police that did it. I'm coming for every single police department in the United States of America, one way or another.
And that's real. Think about it. We talk about we grew up in school And I even grew up in a lot of primarily black schools, but my history class was about Pearl Harbor. And then as we got older, 9/11. And what was the direct response to that? There's patriotism, spike in people enlisting in the military. Everyone want to go get some. Everyone want to go get their pound of flesh. Well, black people have their fucking Pearl Harbor almost like yearly. What do you do? What do you do when the nation that's attacking when the force that's attacking you is your own country? I was like, they're crashing planes into us all the fucking time, and then want us to fucking have a seat and write a letter about why we're upset. You can't suppress people for long before they're like, fuck this. You're not gonna listen to me, so I'm gonna make you pay attention to me.
And then that shit don't help when you got dumbass motherfuckers in the top that want to say some shit like when the looting starts, the shooting starts.
Using the rhetoric that strikes so much PTSD in so many intentionally.
Let the shooting start, bro.
Yeah,
but
harkening back to a day that was for sure, supremacy was secured.
Well, that's what they want to continue, though. That's what they want to keep going.
Yes.
What kills me with that, though, let me tell you the problem with supremacy. And I'm not even going to go into the systemic issues around it or how the system gives out harsher sentences or any of that. I'm just going to go simply like directly to genetics. All right. When slaves were brought here, we're basically bred like cattle. Make them stronger, make them faster, make them capable of picking more cotton.
Breed them.
I see myself in the mirror every day, even at my absolute worst. I know where I'm like genetically. I know exactly where I'm at genetically in comparison to a lot of other races. Wipe away any training I've had, any fitness shit I've done. It still wouldn't be a walk in the park to kick my ass.
Yo.
Just point blank period. Just genetics alone, it would never be a walk in the park to kick my ass. And I look at that and I think about it and I'm like, if something that was essentially bred to be stronger and faster because you thought you would be able to dominate for whatever period of time, and then you still continue to oppress it because basically you fear it, I don't think you fully understand what you got coming. As many have said, people should be very thankful that it is equality that we're looking for and not vengeance.
All right, and not dominance.
Exactly. If anything, we're looking mostly to be left the fuck alone.
Leave me alone.
And that is that's dumbfounding because realistically, 14% of the population are not. This is not going to be no walk in the park because this is the same concept of fighting against a bully. All right. If you fight a bully and you're smaller and you're weaker, but he still quickly realizes it is not going to be easy to kick your ass. Even if he wins, he going to walk away understanding I don't want to fight this motherfucker again.
Won't come back.
And that is why it's necessary. I tell people all the time, like, black people have spent many years being flies instead of bees. People won't hesitate to kill a fly. They'll swat it, they'll smack it, they'll do whatever they can to it because they're annoyed by it. They feel it's filthy. They feel that it's lesser than them, whatever they feel. But they'll take that fly out. Kill a fly. Won't think nothing about it. People think twice before they kill bees. One, because you might get stung. You definitely going to feel the effects of killing it if it gets to you. But more importantly than that, you're going to anger the hive. And that's what's happened. You essentially killed a motherfucker that you thought was a fly that was a bee. The hive is pissed, which means people got to get stung. That's just all there is to it. Because you know what? What's going to happen eventually is people just going to be like, it's a hive over there. I'm not going to go fuck with that. It ain't bothering me. I'm not going to bother it. In fact, that hive is being productive. It's producing honey. It's pollinating. It's helping the environment. We wouldn't be able to get by without that hive. So we're just going to leave the hive the fuck alone, whether we like the bees or not. And the community just has to stop being flies and have to be bees. Well, if you got to sue a motherfucker through litigation, if you got to fight for your survival, if you got to record, if you got to gang up on a cop to get him off of an unarmed man, I don't care what you got to do. Because, I mean, think about that. You had 4 cops kneeling on a man's neck. You had at least 20, 30 bystanders that were African Americans. If 20 African Americans rushed 4 cops, something tells me they're getting off that dude. There may be some sacrifices along the way, but the point is you can't allow that. Those 4 cops are going to know, you know what? We probably don't need to fuck around over here no more. We can't just come in here and muscle people around and choke people out because he may be committing a forgery or choke people out because they may be selling cigarettes or CDs or follow a kid through a neighborhood and gun him down because I don't know if he lives here or not, or follow a guy while he's jogging while he's just out for a run, or call the cops on a dude while he's just out fucking looking for birds. No, we're tired of all that shit.